Alright, so welcome everyone to the AMA with Polkastarter Gaming Guild. My name is Ami. I'm your host today. I'm from Polkastarter. I'm the one constantly spamming our Discord and no one responds me and I'm fine with that. And today I invited Oma, the head of Polkastarter Gaming Guild, very exciting and active Discord group now, and also they are more than just a Discord group, and I invite him today to tell us more about what's going on with Polkastarter Gaming Guild, and are there something for the play to earn gamers, or just basically talking about play to earn. Welcome, Oma.
Thanks for having me, Amy, and hello everyone.
Yeah. So I will start with some questions to Oma. I think it will take half an hour, and then half hour will be all for you. Please send your community questions to the channel PGG under the discussion category, and then Oma will bring something up and answer it right away. And at the end of the AMA, we will pick the best, so-called best question, and reward him or her the HappyLand Scholarship. Correct? Alright, so let's start. I would like to just really tell us the core about the core of PGG. Why PGG exists and what is PGG?
Sure. That's a really good question. I think PGG was just a natural evolution from the main Polkastarter launchpad. So if you're familiar with the launchpad itself, obviously a lot of projects come through and do their IDO with us.
Yeah.
And more recently, a lot of projects have been gaming projects. So we had a lot of game studios apply. You might know a couple listening in the audience. So anything from Dayton to Big Time. The list goes on and on and on, and it just made more sense to continue helping develop that ecosystem for a lot of these projects and a lot of these games beyond just launching their token, right? It made more sense to try and actually help them build a player base, to try and help them reach more and more users, and potentially just help them grow their projects even further. Mm-hmm. Personally, I think a lot of the people in the space might agree, but I personally think that gaming is probably going to be the first wave of mass adoption that we see in crypto, just because all of this NFT ownership stuff is essentially just basic to us, right? We all know this, we do this all the time, we've owned skins in games for many, many years, we've owned things in games across RuneScape, Fortnite, Call of Duty, whatever it is, so it's only natural progression when you think about it. And so it just made perfect sense to try and hop on that from the very beginning and try to actually build it for the many, many years yet to come. So that was kind of the evolution of Polkastarter Gaming out of Polkastarter. And then the guild was essentially our next step to try and actually help the community. So, a big kind of hindrance or a big thing that stands in a lot of people's way is, I don't have the money to actually buy the NFTs to play the games. And so that's where kind of the scholarship program comes in, because we try and basically take that away from you, the need to invest into an NFT and essentially just have you play the game, right? So the way scholarships work is you would register. Typically, we ask you a bunch of questions, anything from what have you played in the past? Do you have experience in play-to-earn games? What type of games do you like? Things like that, just to have basically a proof of play that shows us that you're an actual gamer, because that's what we're targeting, right? We're not trying to get people to flip a project for a profit or things like that. We're trying to get people that actually stick around and play the game and give feedback and things like that, and actually try to grow the space. So yeah, and then once you fill that form out, once you go through the application program, typically we select the scholars that go through and basically play the game without having to buy anything. So that's one way of essentially lowering the barrier to entry, but there's plenty more that we're working on in the back end, which I know the community is excited about, and we keep kind of trying to leak here and there. But yeah, I would say that's pretty much how everything started.
Yeah, super cool. So you basically already sum up my first three questions. the PGG idea and why the blockchain gaming space needed, or just in general why like the industry need some like guild like here to help like to onboard for the sake of like mass adoption of crypto. And this is like what you're currently working on, like some scholarships for the gaming projects who did like ideal through Polkastarter, but also I think not limited. But later I will like you like tell us more about like your current partnership and the current scholarship you have. But I do have some here like interest here, like once like the gamers like fill the form, and like what will be next, like usually how long does it take for you to process, and what is the like the process, like how you filter the gamers? Do you filter them? Oh, Oma, I couldn't hear you. Can you hear me? I lost you. Uh-oh. Let me check. Oh, is my question too difficult?
It really depends on the game, but usually, or at least how it's worked in the past, is you just... Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm here. You hear me?
Yes, we do.
Check, 1, 2.
We hear you, Oma. Please carry on.
Check, 1, 2.
Yes, we hear you, Oma. Oh, let me type you. Oma is now like putting some VPN or turn it off. So he will be right back. For who just joined it, we are here today. Like,
Okay.
yes.
I
Yes.
thought you couldn't for a second. Okay, cool. So I'm here.
All right, carry on.
Essentially, the way it works, or the way it has worked so far, is you apply and then there's just a filtering and selection process. We ask typically a few questions that just help us understand, you as a gamer, what type of games do you like to play? Because, some games are not well suited for everyone. So if you're into strategy, if you're into, RPGs and things like that, that's typically how we try to kind of almost create a profile for you, where we know what type of games you're going to be really good at. And then following that, we kind of just go through like a selection process. We let you know whether obviously you're selected or not. So typically once you're selected, you'll see the private channel pop up on the side in our Discord. We also either follow up with an announcement through the Discord or by email in some cases. So that happened with Wonder Hero, for example. And then from that point onwards, it's just a matter of getting you to play the game. So it depends on game by game, right? So some games are ready and we can just get you started. Other games, we still have to negotiate some certain things with the back-end team, or we have to figure out like what's the best way to start you, possibly as a scholar. But typically it takes, I would say, in some cases it took 1 day. So Wonder Hero, we started immediately. In other cases, it might take a few days to a week just to set everything up and make sure that everyone's set up for the best possible scenario.
Yeah, gotcha. And where can the people get the latest news on their application? Is that your Discord?
Yeah, I would say the best place to kind of linger around and keep an eye out for announcements and everything like that is typically our Discord. We are quite active as well on Twitter, but I would say like our community finds out everything first before anyone else. So I would suggest that you kind of stick around on the Discord, get to know people. We sometimes drop like random announcements in the middle of the night because sometimes we close deals randomly in the middle of the night. So it's really just a matter of trying to be there, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes absolutely sense, like in this space. Yeah, indeed, your Twitter is also like really active. It's like the growth is like amazing. It's a whopping like 24K just in 4 months, and that is like super amazing. Oh, no, it's like 4 months, 1 year and 4 months. But also the fact that you have a active Discord group, that you have lots of moderators, also doing a lot of community activities, and I think who haven't joined the Discord, like definitely need to check it out. Maybe also, is there something like you want to highlight on your Discord, like something ongoing happening, something you want to shout out now? Is it the HappyLand application?
HappyLand is actually over now in terms of applications. They're in my main spots, but as a game itself, HappyLand scholarship spots have now closed, at least for the time being. I always say for the time being because there's obviously always room to kind of grow each of the programs that we're developing. So, a lot of people come and ask for more Wonder Hero spots. I always tell them that they will come. You just have to give it a bit of time because, with some games, it's just a matter of understanding the current landscape. Should we, open up spots? Should we buy more NFTs? Should we focus on Wonder Boxes? Things like that. So it really just depends from game to game. But I would say something that's coming up and you should be excited about. I'm trying to think of what I can and can't say. I would say if you are a fan of Real Fever, you're going to be very happy very soon.
Oh.
Because we're getting something exclusive with them.
Oh.
So that's something to be excited about. I got a couple as well in the pipeline. I don't want to give too much away. So if you want to know a bit more, maybe hop in the Discord and hope that the mods leak something while I'm asleep or kind of say something by mistake in the chat. But for now, I can tell you that we're cooking something up with Real Fever.
Cool. And for sure, if they want more like scholarship spots, like for certain game, they should definitely also tell you here. And I see you basically quite like responsive to what the gamers want. And what is the most popular game now? Can you say that's like in your current like ecosystem on Discord? Can you name like very popular one among all these, and or something like you think you would like users to also help the game to grow, like by leaving more feedback?
Sorry, could you repeat the last part? I just heard feedback.
Yeah. So
would you like players to give you a bit more feedback?
Yeah. Are you welcome to have more feedback from the gamers, and how should they leave comment and feedback on certain game?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. In some cases, we already have like feedback forms and bug report forms and things like that the players can just go in and fill and say, hey, like this lagged or that lagged. In other cases, we typically just ask that everyone just continues to give us feedback about the game. What I do kind of motivate everyone to start kind of getting into the habit of doing is maybe look away from the charts sometimes, because I think now that the market is down, everyone tends to kind of think, oh yeah, but the token's going down, like what's gonna happen? This is gonna last. I think right now is just the time to build.
Yeah.
So I would be a bit more optimistic in terms of like where the projects are going if the game is fun. So if you're enjoying the gameplay, if you're watching, other people get in, if you're having fun playing the game, if this is something that you could play with or without play to earn, then I would say like just keep your head down and keep accumulating tokens and keep playing and things like that, because they'll only get better, they'll only grow even more and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're always welcome to drop your feedback, whether it's to us or directly to the team. There's always like a clear channel as well if you want to directly speak to the team or ask questions to the team.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I also want to like discuss this a little bit. So you just mentioned like the fact that now the market is not good, but actually the games, the gaming studio, what I know they do constantly building and alpha 1, 2, 3 beta and just keep improving, and like how PGG is supporting them like along the way. And do you feel like you are helping them to build and just do better?
Yeah, I mean, it's always the priority for us. We try focus on providing as much value to the games that we're working with as possible. Again, it depends from scenario to scenario, but for example, with Wonder Hero, it was an incubation project by Polkastarter, so obviously we're very close to the team, we're always talking back and forth and things like that. Yeah. But there's always a tendency to kind of, propose new ideas to teams, talk about potential, ideas that if you try this, maybe it'll work, or maybe you want to collaborate with that project, or maybe you want to bring this to light, or maybe you want to highlight that, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of more, like you said, it's more of a partnership than it is just us kind of going out and buying NFT or land or whatever. It's more about developing that ecosystem, because basically as the game grows, the scholarship program grows, so the community is happy, and then we're happy, and then the game is happy. So it's kind of like a win-win scenario. So it's always a constant conversation. I think it's good. It's good to have touch bases with the studios and with the projects directly, so that we can kind of keep giving them the feedback, which is exactly what we ask our community to give as well, in terms of what do you guys think about the game? Would you want to change this? Would you want to change that? And as a result, you get to see some fun stuff like Blockchain Monster Hunt, for example. Just put out branded avatar shirts. So now you could actually wear like a PGG shirt and Blockchain Monster Hunt.
Oh,
Which
yeah?
is pretty cool, I think.
Wow.
We're going to start posting some of that stuff on social media soon. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff that we can work on with the team.
Let me, SBCHMT. Yeah, I just like very curious, and sorry, I just want to like have a look what are they doing. But I understand the fact like you are just like having a lot of behind the scene discussion, and it is also like work in progress like for everything, right? It's like the players like also need to let the games know what they do better, and in some way PGG is like serving as a bridge and facilitator to make this like communication going. And I do want to ask like at this moment like in general like the industry do feel like the play to earn games, they are not like always making the players happy. Like one like major like discussion going on is like if the quality of the games are good enough actually compared to like traditional gaming, right? It's still new and like not like plus blockchain and plus earn, then it will make it like instantly better. Like and what do you think like as the head of PGG, like what do you see like the future of like play to earn gaming would be like?
That's a very interesting topic because you see, I personally think that we need to move away from play to earn and into play and earn. Like you basically mentioned, I think the focus should be on just making really fun games with the potential to earn while playing them, rather than really trying to have like the earning part being the main driver for people to play the game. Because in that case, as soon as earnings start, going down and things like that, you will start losing a lot of your player base. So my kind of opinion and perspective on this is that we need to really start focusing on the quality of games rather than trying to focus on kind of the earning side of things. I think as gamers, we will always play video games, whether you earn with them or not. It's just a matter of finding a really fun game that you really enjoy playing, and then adding the cherry on top or the icing on the cake, which is, well, you know what, you could also earn tokens while playing them. But if we focus on the earning first and not the playing, I think we'll just continue to have low quality games, and the space will not evolve to what it's meant to be. But I think that will change soon with a lot of big name players that are trying to get into the space. I think once we start seeing, a lot of these really hyped projects like Big Time and things like that, I think there will be a shift in the space towards really high quality games, and I think people will start being a bit more selective with the games that they hop on, and a bit more selective with the time that they spend playing some of the games in the space.
Yeah, Black Time is like definitely very exciting for us as well. Like we started Polkastarter also like started some partnership. But I think definitely we'll let like PGG lead the way of like the access partnership. How it would it be? NFT sale? Maybe NFT sale, hopefully, and also hopefully it just like there's some scholarship for people to play that game. I saw somewhere they are launching their game soon, or is it not the case? Or can you tell us more?
I can't say soon, but it's happening soon, I would say, because we just had a demo look at the game and it looks amazing. I can just tell you, it's a private demo session and it already looks really good. It's just a demo build, but I'm personally super excited. Like that's one game that I'm really keen to kind of watch and see how it plays out, because I think it'll bring a lot of people into the space.
Yeah, so cool. It just I think they already have been very well-known game studio before joining the blockchain space, right? So they actually built from the foundation. Really cool. And
a lot of really smart people working on the project as well.
Yeah, so if I understand you correctly, there will be something here called Back Time, and I hope everyone will check it out and join the Discord already in the early days. So just get familiar with each other and just like understand each other better, like who can later be in your team. It's also about teamwork in the gaming space. I think I would just like ask my last question and then give it to the floor. So basically, this AMA keep telling people the only base I have is like we're giving this HappyLand scholarship. How does the HappyLand scholarship work? Like, just use it as an example. If they want to play HappyLand, where to start with, and how your guild is going to help it, or the scholarship is going to help it. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, it's like HappyLand is this farming game. That in the old days, like you play the Facebook Farmfield game. Quite similar to that, and everything in it is NFTs, and you grow the crops and you can earn their token, HPL, and I think there are also another token for them to buy the land, right? So walk us through this a little bit, how the partnership of like PGG and HappyLand is like now.
Sure. So basically, the way the game works is like what you said. Essentially, it's a typical farming simulator game. So if you played Farmville, I think you'll find a lot of appreciation for this game. Mm-hmm. And again, because obviously it's in crypto and it's big to earn, so the land that you own. So think about, I'm just going to use Farmville as an example.
Yeah.
Everything that you built and kind of like grew crops on and things like that on Farmville, like that land itself would be an NFT, meaning it belongs to you. You have full ownership over it. It's no one else's, and you can sell it and trade it whenever you want, however you want, right? Like that's kind of the whole point behind what we're trying to do here in this space. The way you play is essentially you buy land plots, you buy seeds, and then you essentially grow them. So as a typical farming simulator game, you see that you start unlocking more and more seeds as you level up. You start kind of getting animals as well that you could grow in the farm and things like that. So the way the scholarship works is we essentially provide you with everything that you need to get started. So you would get the land, you would get the tokens to buy the seeds and the land plots, and all you have to do is essentially just play the game. And then you might be wondering, okay, so like what's in it for PGG? Well, two things. Obviously, as a scholarship program, as a guild, there's a commission rate that we go with. We're trying to kind of come up with the actual best possible commission rate in the space right now. Our end goal for all of the games that we're currently offering scholarship programs for is 80 to 90% for the scholar, which works in unlocks starting from typically around 50%, sometimes from 60 for the scholar, where every single month that you're just constantly playing the game, you're progressing, you're going on and on and on, we just keep unlocking more and more and more commission rate for you, right? So, for example, the first months of playing Wonder Hero, all the Wonder Hero scholars went up by 10%, just by simply playing the game. So that's effectively how we're kind of motivating players to keep playing, motivating players to kind of keep grinding and things like that. But the idea for us is to essentially reach a point in time where you're earning the most possible amount of tokens that you can from playing these games without ever having to actually invest in them. So the focus has always been on the community and on the players, and that remains the same until today, right? So it's just a kind of a back-end commission split that happens in the game, but then you just keep playing it. So every single day you hop in, you play HappyLand for a bunch of hours, you log out, you come back, you check in, so on and so forth. The way the partnership is working, I would say, is maybe a bit more complex in the sense that we're trying to do things with the team. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to work directly with the HappyLand team to, bring more value, to bring them more feedback, to give them more ideas. A lot of the projects that we're working with, we're trying to kind of look at the potential of having tournaments, having prize pools, having rewards, and things like that. So, if you've won a scholarship spot in HappyLand, congrats. You're going to hear very soon. We've just opened the Happy Boxes that we got, and it's just a matter of allocating things to accounts and things like that for the time being. But if you haven't, then I would say, have fun in the question section, give it a shot, maybe try to win yourself a spot, and keep an eye out on more expansions as well. Like I foresee all of the programs that we've launched growing over the next couple of months easily. So just keep an eye out on our Discord as usual.
Yeah, just to give everyone a little bit of the sense of the time frame here. HappyLand is actually really new and they just like grow like crazy. And of course, like just like all the game, they have their own like team for a long time. Probably also doing gaming and like a combination of like finance like professionals. They came to us like during the IDO. I think it's like last December. And then since then, they basically like non-stoply rolling out their game. We start with like doing a test, and then they constantly come back to us like asking for feedback. I was like in all these chats, and I know they're very keen to make it better. And I think like since the IDO, there are already a lot happening, and PGG definitely play a role in that. So congratulations on it, and hope everyone also like got a chance to like be part of it. Since like just there's like many going on, also on their roadmap. Yeah. So now I'm going to bring the questions up. I'm thinking like if there's a better way to do this, but I think also like fair. I just like share my screen and I just read it like together with you all. I hope we don't have that many questions, so we can actually cover everything. Yeah. All right. So let me just do some back scene stuff. Right. Whoa. Oh, quite some questions. No, actually. All right, like them one by one. How important is the community to you? How can we cooperate and help in the development of PGG? Do you take into account community feedback and demands? Can you see
Yeah, I
the
would
screen?
say community is yeah. Thanks for that. I think community for us has always been number one. I'm sure if you've stuck around long enough in the Discord, you'll see that we're constantly listening. We're constantly kind of trying to really give the community what they're asking for. So whether it's sometimes we just get like random feedback, like hey guys, set up a guard tech bot so that we can play Dictionary in the server. To hey guys, you should check out this game because it would be really cool to bring it to a portfolio and open up a scholarship program. To just anything from like restructuring ideas for engagement and things like that. So the community has always been the main focus for us. It's what we really pride ourselves in. And if you've been here for a while, you know for a fact that the server was at like around 90,000 people, and then we trimmed it down to remove inactive accounts because we wanted as much as possible to avoid like having just random bots and things like that, but and focusing on the community itself. So what we really care about is the actual genuine people that are willing to constantly come in and just chat with one another, because what we're trying to build is a community of gamers, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like as diverse as it might be. In the end of the day, one thing unites everyone in that server, or in the entire PGG community, which is everyone plays video games. Now, what kind of games you play, that's a different story. But that's always been kind of the focus for us, and it will continue to be the focus for us. So you'll know for a fact that I'm always like dropping in the Discord and checking out what people are talking about. You know that the mods and the admins are super helpful. I'm always listening to you guys as well. And whenever there's like a suggestion or anything like that, we always take up everything.
Super fun. I think you definitely have enough channel for people to leave feedback. Sometimes it can be the feedback to the guild, the scholarship, or to PGG, but sometimes also like to the game. If you want to go technical and just bring on like your gaming background here and show your skills, like definitely there's a shot, and probably like OG or someone like from the PGG will like recruit you. But also the fact that just sometimes about like just community hangouts, just some time together for a laugh, and I totally see that it can be a place for it. So I hope Omar answer your question, and if not, just like ask again. All right. Another question from the community would be, good day, sir. Have you heard about the majority of users are being exploited by other guilds, as most of the income usually goes back to the guild instead of the scholars? How can PGG change this system so that most rewards will go back to the users? I think you kind of answered this before, but let's just do that again.
Yeah, I would say pretty much the same thing that I talked about earlier, right? So the focus is always on kind of helping you, really like empowering you to earn as much as you possibly can while playing the game and having fun, and while still having a say in kind of the development of the game. So The plan has always been from the beginning to get you as a scholar to the 80-90% commission rate figure that we're trying to get to. The way we do it is obviously through incentivizing you, because if you just started from the beginning with like a 90%, there's not much that you're building up to or working towards.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it helps us to really kind of qualify the scholars that are committed and engaged, rather than start everyone at 90% and then have people drop off or have people get start losing their scholarship spots for like lack of activity and things like that. So far, we've seen that it's worked tremendously. So Blockchain Monster Hunt, the entire scholarship team was very active and are now up, I think, another 10% as well. With Wonder Hero, same scenario. And we're also kind of with Wonder Hero, because it's a bit different, you have to have locked percentage commission in the game for like upgrades and things like that. But we've kind of focused on the best possible scenario for everyone to be able to keep progressing. And obviously, like, there's always room to kind of ask and request top-ups in terms of the tokens that you need to level up. And then with the new scholarships that we've launched, the Wasted Dances was kicked off technically 2 days ago, and HappyLand is now kicking off. It's going to be the exact same system where you start off at a certain point, and then every single month you're just unlocking. It's basically like you're unlocking more and more caps, where you go from 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 90, as high as it possibly can, based on kind of the projections that we've done.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely like basically you stay longer and more loyal, and the PGG will also going to reward you that, and together with the game. So I also have a follow-up question, like just for myself, like curious how to see like how active is the game's ecosystem. Do you check it like from like that router or something, like especially for game, like how do you tell if it is a very active game and a lot of active wallet users? Is that where you check it?
There's different ways that we can find this. Obviously, community.
Can I do that? I think I can do that. Like,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Check 1 2.
Yes, we can hear you, Omar.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Your voice got roboted for a bit, but don't worry.
Okay. This is the we can hear you. This is the site I usually use. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, that radar is pretty good in terms of like analytics and indications and things like that. I think for me personally, I'm a big fan of like gaming communities, so I like to hop in the Discords and the Telegrams and see what people are talking about. Right. So that's a very easy way for me to understand what game is doing pretty well. Which game are people like actively trying to kind of level up and asking questions about, and this level's too hard, I want to do this, I want to do that, and like that shows you that there's actual involvement.
Yeah.
Where like typically if you go into a Discord and it's pretty quiet and no one's asking questions and no one's, I mean, even if complaining is a good thing, right? Because you're pushing developers to get better and kind of improve the game. So if no one's complaining, if no one's saying anything, then for me that's kind of a red flag of, this product doesn't have a good user base.
True.
But majority of the games that we've worked with, at least so far, so we launched from day one with Blockchain Monster Hunt, so we've been kind of watching that community grow more and more.
Yeah.
I think they're around, I don't want to say a wrong figure, but I think they're around something like 7,000, 8,000 players active daily, something like that, which is pretty solid for a start.
Yeah.
Same scenario with Wonder Hero, but we're also looking at some of the games that already have active communities and trying to get into those. So kind of what you mentioned earlier, which is we try to prioritize our partner games, obviously, but in some cases we do look outside as well, if that's something that the community wants. So Cyball has been coming up in the chat a lot, so that's something that we're trying to potentially have a conversation around as well, to potentially get involved in their upcoming guild tournament. I'll keep you posted on that in the Discord, of course. But yeah, there's always potential to kind of explore. I personally look at communities, some of the team members look at analytics, and then obviously we have direct conversations with the teams where we can get a bit more insight for what's happening with their game and what their plans are moving forward.
Yeah. And the space just like evolving like rapidly, and the numbers change every day, and also like based on the market condition. But if you feel like that the game genuinely has something that's like worth your time to cultivate it a little bit, and just be their early supporters, like I would say, like please do so, because games also need time to develop, right? So let's move to the other question. will the post token be used with PGG or will PGG have its own token? A good one, actually. I never been asked about that before.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, typically with most guilds, you have a DAO, right? So you've got like a token, so you've got the YGG token, you've got the GGG token, Merit Circle has a token, things like that. It's a conversation that we had, it's a conversation we're still having, it's a conversation that might progress. There are two scenarios here, so I'm not going to tell you what's going to end up happening, but I'm telling you there are two scenarios here. Either A, we add utility to the polls token where it could play a part in the guild, or B, we create a separate token for PGG, and it would basically run like a typical kind of DAO funded guild, you could say. But that hasn't been decided yet. So again, don't take this as any indication of let me buy polls because it's going to be involved in the guild, but also don't take it as an indication that this won't happen in the future. I'm just telling you that it's something that we've talked about multiple times. It's something that we're looking at. But right now, especially with the market being down and everything being slow, we're really focusing on kind of learning as much as we can and working with the teams that are building stuff. Because when the market is up, everyone's happy, everything's great, every project is amazing. When the market is down, that's when you really start kind of learning and digging in and analyzing everything. So we're currently at a state of, I would say, education, right? So from a guild perspective, like we just kicked off a couple of months ago, we just kicked off scholarship programs. We're just growing the community base, and it would be a matter of what's next for us when we come up with that decision, essentially.
Yeah, totally not financial advice here. Like there won't be like extra utility of a post, especially for PGG. Like nothing like that at this moment. But like for sure, like the gaming guild idea was like born like I think last year, and there's like since then there are lots of partnership like coming to us, like showing interest to work together, and together with the gaming industry, like the blockchain gaming industry, the growth of it. So you also see like we have just like more and more gaming projects like for the ideal with the ideal. And also the project themselves evolve, right? So they start with like making game, and then their game also NFT, and then eventually they can also do NFT sale. And of course, the best is not about the sale only, but about like how maybe multi-chain game assets like they can use. And we are definitely building an ecosystem here. And like also the fact that like Polkastarter's like platforms like own features also expanding. If you notice, like a week ago we just like finished our land sale with People First, and like so metaverse is also something like we are like exploring, and eventually I believe we will just like become stronger, bigger together. Yeah. All right, another question we have from the community is that I don't see the channels. All right, all good. Does PGG have maximum scholarship? Can we have in PGG? So I think what I understand is if you apply one, can you apply second and third and fourth one?
So at the moment, the max I think we're on, I know UFOT is probably at 3 at the moment. We are testing it though because it might be a bit too hectic to kind of try, because again we ask that you play at least 90% of the games that you can possibly play in terms of like progression. So we are just observing that, and I think the guys who are also on multiple scholarships understand. We've talked about it very openly that if it works, then it works, right? Like there's no limit. If you have all those hours to sit and play and things like that, then by all means. If it doesn't, then we kind of have a follow-up conversation where we say, okay, what games would you actually rather stick to, and then we can kind of move that spot over to someone else, because ideally what we're trying to do is empower you to play video games, to have fun, but at the same time to also potentially earn. And the way that we can do this is obviously by offering you more and more opportunities, so we haven't closed off anything. I think 4 would be like extreme, so that's probably not going to happen. But I think at like 3 spots potentially, that's kind of a solid foundation. It does require a couple of hours every single day, so it depends on the games that you're kind of involved in. But to give you like an easy answer now, I would probably say 3. But open to negotiation because it might go down to 2.
Yeah.
But it also might go up. I don't think it'll ever go up, to be honest. It might just go down to 2. So I would say anywhere between 2 to 3.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Like case by case, and also just the fact, like in reality, it's almost like freelancing, right? Like you do a job, and can you do 3 or 4? Yeah, but can you really do that? Like that's more the commitment also you're showing. Yeah, thanks. But I also will have a follow-up question here. Do you do evaluation with the scholars like time to time? See if they like the game or if they want to continue or proceed or have like more scholarship. Do you do such evaluation with them?
Do we do evaluations with the scholars?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything kind of structured as of yet. We constantly kind of have conversations back and forth in the channels. The plan is to essentially moving forward, and even for new games, particularly HappyLand right now, is to have a bit more of a structure. So I know everyone that's in the scholarships has noticed that we've changed kind of the structure of the Discord server as well, where we added a bit more in terms of the channels under each of the programs. So now we used to have one channel for all the scholarship programs, but now under Wonder Hero, you'll see like Wonder Hero announcements, Wonder Hero general chat, and then Wonder Hero content, where you could just throw in anything that you found super cool if you kind of managed to finish a really difficult level or whatever. And then there's also a voice chat in case you want to kind of pop in and maybe discuss something really quickly with someone. So we're trying to build a bit more structure to it as well. We're trying to again take some of the feedback from the community and see how we could do that. So definitely feedback on the game is something that we're actively looking for. Bug reports and feedback forms and things like that, we're always pushing our scholars to kind of go out and fill them, because that's the only way for the games to develop, right? If you keep telling everyone that their games are amazing, then they're not going to get any better.
Yeah.
But if you constantly kind of keep picking on the small details that you think, if you change this, it would be amazing. If you change that, it would be really nice, blah, blah, blah. I think that's when kind of the developers can have a log of changes that they need to make over the next couple of weeks, if not months.
Nice. Yeah, nice. I think scholars definitely like have a role to also be the one to just pass on this feedback from the community as well. So I see people ask like, yeah, let's optimistic. We can do 4 as long as we can manage it. Like, why not? Yes, really, but yeah. The fact that the game and PGG offers scholarship, the main goal in the long run is also help the games grow and make it better, and users start enjoying playing it. So definitely have certain responsibility here as the scholar. So yeah, good. We covered most, not many questions. Let's see. I have scholars account other than on PGG. Depends on which game. Oh, sorry, I missed this one indeed. What criteria do you consider for a good P2Earn game that you would consider opening a scholarship program on?
It's a really good question. I think priority to me, at least personally, will always, is this a fun game, right? Like I typically look at a game and say, if I was passionate about farming simulators, would I enjoy playing this game? If I was passionate about RPGs, would I enjoy playing this game? If I was passionate about first-person shooters, would I enjoy playing this game? And so on and so forth. Because I think, again, going back to the main point that we discussed, if you're having fun playing the game, then there's no point. That's probably not sustainable, and it's probably going to die out, right? So that's number one. Number two is typically in terms of like the team and the vision and things like that, because sometimes you come across a lot of teams that have really huge plans moving forward, and it's just a matter of like getting things up and going and kind of fixing glitches and things like that along the way. But there's always like a bigger vision, right? Like the end goal is to get this game to be X, Y, Z. So you've seen kind of the growth of Axie overnight. You could argue that it was probably like one of the first, if not the first, in the space. But you also can look at games like Titan that blew up in a matter of months since their launch. You could look at games like Time that everyone's literally just dying to start playing. There's other games even like beyond the portfolio. So I'm gonna say Illuvium, for example, Cyball, Phantom Galaxies. There's so many games in the space that you just know have a lot of potential, and you just know that people are dying to play.
Yeah.
And then there's always the community factor. So Cyball popped up in the conversations because a lot of people were saying, hey, like let's get into Cyball, let's get into Cyball, let's get into Cyball, and then that led to us basically asking for a call with the team and kind of talking about potentially opening up scholarship spots. So that's why I always say, like, in the Discord, like, feel free to suggest, feel free to bring up kind of potential games that you're looking at. We always drop in, like, whenever we can, at least when the developer team kind of allows us to. We always bring up, like, demos. We always bring up, like, trailers. We always try to kind of share some of the stuff that we're looking at, because there are some games that are not even out yet, and I'm super excited about, but I can't share too much about. So I would say, yeah, the game is fun, and obviously if the in-game economy makes sense, so that it covers kind of both sides of things, but my priority will always be the game itself. So I think if you have a fun game, it's easy to kind of integrate crypto into it, but if you don't have a fun game, then it's always just going to be like a click to earn kind of thing, if you're not enjoying doing something in the game. If it doesn't, bring back nostalgia of other games that you played in the past, if it doesn't give you, like, Candy Crush vibes or Farmville vibes, or like, this is how I used to spend all my hours playing games like this. Things like that, I think, is what we kind of typically look for when selecting scholarship programs. And, there's always the odd one where a game reaches out or something like that, and then we get a conversation going and we find that our vision and their vision kind of match together, and so that also leads to scholarships typically.
Well, I can imagine, like, there must be like thousands of demo or beta link in your inbox and like just asking you to try the game. But yeah, the thing is, like, I think it's very important, like you said, like the third factor, like the community do show like enormous like amounts of interest in certain game, like that can't be fake, right? So if you see something nice, even if it's just an indie game, sometimes we don't really like need to look at like that they have like big portfolio, like same as like Polkastarter IDO. Sometimes it's not necessary about like what is the VC background. It's really about they have something unique to show, and in the markets there's like demands for it, and sometimes we can just be a facilitator role, like so the community tell what the people need from a bottom up situation. I think is the most ideal. Yeah. Well, I do have like one question, like someone didn't ask. Like, actually, what is cooking on your website? You keep telling me like it's not ready, but what is coming next?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the website, if only you guys could see, the website right now is literally just a landing page. It's not even the most updated one, primarily because we're building something way bigger than what this serves the purpose of right now. This literally just shows you like a link to the Discord, a link to the Twitter, and like 2 scholarship application programs. But what we're trying to build, and I'll just tell you this really quickly, so that I don't give too much away, is a place for you to come back to on a constant basis to learn about some of these new games, to potentially enroll in some of these games and their scholarship programs, to potentially kind of, buy, sell, trade NFTs across some of these games, and to even just have, things steam in the sense of the social element to it, right? Yeah. We've seen it a lot in Discord, like all the scholars are super excited about having PGG next to their name. They're super excited to share that, they've got scholarship spots in certain games and things like that. Yeah. They're very proud to kind of speak up and say, yes, I played this game and I represent PGG and so on and so forth. So adding a bit more to that, I would say, is kind of what's been cooking recently. But actually, I don't know if you've been around for a while, then you might remember, speaking to the community with this one, you might remember that, like, at I think 5,000 followers on Twitter, we did like an alpha leak of what the platform kind of looks like. And I think we did it again at like 10,000. I stopped doing that now because it's looking up, it's shaping up, so I don't want to give too much away. I might continue doing it, moving on.
Well, should I show this or not? Like, this is the 20K sneak peek.
Yeah, there you go. So that was a bit of a sneak peek there from what we're planning.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of fun stuff, to be honest. A lot of kind of just the idea is to really grow the space and really grow kind of the play. I want to start calling it play and earn, but for the sake of the conversation, to really grow the play to earn space at the moment and see how we can add value to it and see how we can really take it to the next level. So it's not just a random and kind of jumping back and forth and not having any sense of structure. We hope that this would pretty much like change the space in a way, if that makes sense.
Yes, totally. I think you are showing something definitely just progressing and a bit by bit, step by step. But super looking forward like together. I don't see more new questions coming, so I hope this like AMA answered most of the question about PGG. But if not, they definitely or you definitely can like just answer some more questions, leave some more questions here, or just like on their Discord channel as well. I want to add a little bit like advertising time, like Polkastarter Discord or like in general community also just want to do something more fun in the future. Yeah, it's gotta be me trying to execute. But like if you have good ideas, just let me know. I definitely look and I read and I will discuss with team. Just lots of things ongoing. If you notice, like Polkastarter, like publish our next blog, like it's a roadmap of what you can expect, like in the upcoming months. In Polkastarter. So that's just actually basically taking all our time, like all the developers' time to build on, and some of them already happen quite successful, I would say, with the crypto first land sale. We will definitely try to make more NFT sales happen. That's why if you feel like community side is a bit lacking, like do let us know, and what we can do together will be like just better, Polkastarter is like just 1 year old, like 1.5 now. Definitely room to grow. So yes, who is winning? Yes, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, can you tell now, Oma, which question do you like most?
I like a couple, but again, I see familiar names that already are in the scholarship program. So I want to give it a good look here.
Wonky. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Let's see.
Wonky.
Yeah, I like that one. I also like the question about the income going to the scholars one. That was a pretty good question. I mean, all the questions are really good questions. I'm just I'm definitely skipping like a bunch of you guys intentionally just because I see familiar names.
Yeah. 2 here, and then Crimson also asked.
Kristen, yeah.
Yeah, and then Wayne Can Holmes. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me do this real quick.
Okay.
Here, double check you. Nah. You already have it.
Wow.
This is harder than I expected.
Lucky that we don't have that many.
Actually, and you don't have a spot. Just drop an emoji or something in the chat.
Yeah, we can do that. But
do that, yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I can do it.
Yeah, so if you ask the question,
yeah,
and you don't already have a HappyLand scholarship spot, just drop a note. I think I might actually wait. Hold on, I might just do this one. 1 sec. I need to copy this.
Oh, that's any scholarship yet?
And I think might be this one. I don't know how to pronounce this though, so you might wanna. Maybe I'll just tag you. Add, and then God help me. Here, there you go, found it.
Whoa. Okay. I had a feeling that would be. How to pronounce it? Is it Thai?
I have no idea how to pronounce it. That's why I was just like staring at it for a spot.
Okay.
Exactly. This guy doesn't have a scholarship. Yeah, I was just checking my Discord as well. Yeah. So I think let me copy paste that. The team will reach out to you.
Yeah.
And before we wrap things up, I just wanted to say thank you guys for joining. For everyone from the community and anyone new joining in.
Yeah, pretty good.
Feel free to stop by our Discord and keep chatting if you have any more questions about the games or if you want to just get to know everyone.
Yeah.
I would say it's a super kind of kind and loving community. I think you'll feel welcome. I can definitely tell you that I feel welcomed all the time, but also the mods and everyone else that joins tends to say, "Oh, this is fun. Like, let me try logging in again tomorrow and see if everyone's still gonna be on." So feel free to stop by. Feel free to get on some games and make some friends and things like that. And also, I don't know if you know this actually, Amy. We're doing a Discord AMA tomorrow, but in our Discord. And we're giving away one more spot for HappyLand. So you might want to, if you didn't make it this time, if you asked a question and you don't have a scholarship spot, or maybe if you missed it and you're listening to this now, I would say pass by tomorrow. You could potentially earn another spot. And with that, we would pretty much close all the applications for now for the first round of HappyLand, and we can get everyone started with the game.
Okay, I didn't notice that. Where is is there some sort of announcement? Or where is it going to happen?
We always surprise people. Don't spoil it.
One day, yeah, for sure.
That's how you know who's really there. You just drop an announcement a couple of hours and say, "Hey, man, who's coming?" And then you bring it up.
Oh my god, so demanding. I will join if I have time, as usual.
I think that's our that's what we're known for now. Like, you just have to be active because sometimes we drop random things in the middle. So
yeah, the random thing does work. Like, that's definitely make people just hang out as long as they can. Good one. So please join this one. The Polkastarter Gaming Guild. I will put the link also on our Discord as well. Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you so much everyone for joining. I recorded the session and I will have a look, and if it looks good, I will upload it on our YouTube. Otherwise, definitely there will be a second AMA. Thank you so much, Omar.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks everyone.
Bye bye.